Hello class, this is Professor Tweed here, continuing with our 3D modeling lessons in Sketchup. And what we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at the roof and changing these exterior walls sort of into the right angle for this single sloped roof here. And the reality is, to do this is really a lesson in Intersect with Model, which is one of my favorite, most powerful tools in SketchUp. So that's really what this lesson can be. It can be applied to anything that you need to do sort of complex geometry using Intersect with Model with. So the thing I'm going to do first is I'm going to start just by modeling the roof plane itself. And so this is where I'm going to use my scaffolding from my elevations. I'm going to go to my pencil tool. I'm going to trace out the extents of this roof, not the beams, which are the these lower elements here, but I don't know why I'm not snapping on that corner here. Sort of got locked in on a direction there. There we go. I'm just pressing my arrow key to reset directional, so I've like pressed it twice to sort of get reset there. If you're having sort of a similar issue, it's a little trick. And then get there. So I click all the way around, and of course it follows this shape here. And what I can then do is I can pull this out, and the extents of this roof really are the width of it. I might not have quite set right based on how I've done this, but I know the width is going to be the width of this back elevation. That's how wide the roof is going to be. The thing is, I've got this set too close to the wall here on this side. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to triple click on one face. That selects the entirety of that object. And I'm going to right click and make it a group, because it's always good to sort of make things a group. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I might just check my second floor plan and see how, just verify that I got this the width of this roof right. I'm just going to use the measure tool. This is all sort of set up as 27.4. And I've offset it from the wall 1.3 it looks. Is that right? No, I don't think I snapped right. Yeah, I'm snapping to the joist there. So it is 1'2" away from the wall. So I know that again I'm just gonna move this 1'2" because I know it's 1'2" out from the side of that wall. And then I know it's 1'2" from the side of that wall. Yeah, it looks like the way I had this elevation set up. I just need to make sure it's set to that point, which it was, and go 1'2". Alright, so there we go. So now the roof is set into place exactly where it should be. Alright. Now, when we are looking at Intersect with Model, what this video is really about, we're gonna intersect the walls that we did in the last video. And so anytime you're intersecting with Model, you want to make sure the thing it's intersecting with is bigger than it. So that's why the walls are so tall, and it's good that the roof overhangs on all directions. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to double click to get inside this group. I'm going to triple click just to select everything in that group, or select any other way that you want to do it. And I'm going to right click and say Intersect Faces with Model. And we can see a subtle line appear around all the edges. If I just double click out of here for a second, and I'm just going to move my roof over so we can really see what's going on. I'm going to move it over. Sometimes I just do this. Okay, it looks like if I move it over 60 feet, it'll be out of the way. And so, so I can see if I turn off my CAD layer as well. Not that you have to do this, but if I'm just sort of making it more clear. You can see it's made a double line on here, and that double line is any place the top plane crossed this and the bottom plane of the roof crossed this surface. And what I really want to do is I want to delete this all down to the bottom line. If I delete it to the top line, I'd see that line on this surface because it's coplanar with the top line of that surface. So I'm just going to double click inside this group, and I'm going to delete it. And it's really easy to get the top part, right? I can delete it all there. You might want to spend a little more time working on the little group here, just to make sure you get all of the pieces. And I sort of work corner by corner. I'm getting some of the back corner, but not entirely, so I'll have to check the back walls and the side walls separately here. So And of course, that's the tricky thing about 3D modeling, is always rotating your view, because even though you might not see something in the background, if it is actually still there, it's going to be selected. So we can see what I mean by that is we can see I accidentally got rid of this back wall at some point in time because I probably selected, it didn't realize that it was being selected in the view. So I'm going to just reconstruct this really quickly here. Here and here. So there, should construct it. Whether this surface came back or not, it's not really going to be an issue. I might just delete it because if you did yours better than mine, you won't even have it. You don't need it, that surface there, because it's already in the roof. But I do have this little surface here I'm going to get rid of. Even these little points, see these little lines I'm selecting here and here and here, you will see the dot of that on the surface if you don't get rid of it. So I just deleted it all. I can, I'm going to click outside the group. I'm going to select my roof, and I moved it 60 feet over. I purposely did a dimension that I remembered, so I could just move it 60 feet back like this, and we can see the roof now sits right there on top of it. Now this is not the only roof actually in this model that'll take correcting. I'm not going to show the entirety of it, but this, if we notice, if I turn the CAD layer back on so we can see what's going on, this little structure here, right here, that sticks above the roof and is a little flat roof that's only, this wide. It's just sort of just detail from the stairwell. And actually this surface back here is, the roof is here. We can see the roof just barely sticking out here in this back plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of pause this video for a second because you don't need to watch it. And I'm going to come back with those elements, sort of finish constructing. But you use the same techniques. You just use basic modeling techniques. You won't need to use intersect with model, I don't think, for this, but you will have to intersect this piece with the model here. So just give me a second to come back. So jumping ahead, here we go. I've got the roof forms finished, and I just want to make a couple of comments here. I don't know if my office phone is ringing in the background here, if you can hear it, but it's bothering me here. Anyway, so one of the things I had to do is I used intersect with model to knock out the upper parts of these walls. And once I did that, I had a hole in this segment that I had to fill back in, and just by drawing the rest of the missing pieces of the wall. It wasn't too bad. I can help you if you really need to, but see if you can figure it out. And I deleted sort of the in-between lines. And I constructed both the interior side of this face and this exterior side of the face. I think that's sort of key to know. The other thing I sort of realized when I did this, which you may have done too, when I set this roof the first time, I think I must have set it off of these front faces here, or the front face. And I set the 1'2" off, but the reality is it's off of this face here. So my roof wasn't quite set right, and it wasn't even quite the right width. So when I was sort of off screen finishing this, at some point I saw that, and I had to fix that based on my model. With my CAD model on, I sort of saw that and saw how it was working. So it is a little tricky, especially to fix this corner here, but it's just basic modeling stuff once you run intersect with model. So I've got the roof done, and I've got the basic shape of my building done. There's some things like there's a roof overhang here, and a set of steps here, and porch here, and things that they're just basic modeling. You should be able to manage yourself. The next video we want to look at is how to approach doing the windows and doors and things like that. So I'll see you then.